Earlier this summer, Six Flags St. Louis celebrated their 50th anniversary. And what a crazy 50 years it has been. From the beginnings with River King Mine Train and Screamin' Eagle, to the present with Mr. Freeze and American Thunder. Now, we know Six Flags St. Louis has had a great history, but what about the future of this park? Well, in this video, I will be giving you my predictions on what could be coming next. Could we be looking at a thrilling flat ride, or maybe a new major roller coaster? Find out next. Hey everyone, this is Cullah Hale from Destination Thrills, and if you've been following this channel, you probably know that Six Flags St. Louis is my home park, and I have been going to the park ever since I was 11 years old. So, out of all the theme parks in the world, this one truly means the most to me. And throughout my childhood, I would always scan Screamscape and other coaster forums to discover the latest rumors for what could be coming next. Let's just say that fascination for the future of Six Flags St. Louis has not died at all, and that is why in this video I will be giving you my thoughts on what could be coming in the next 4 years. Now, I want to preface this by saying that these are just my predictions. Besides the fact that Catwoman's whip is opening in 2022, nothing else is confirmed information. I generate these predictions from analyzing certain factors that I believe can give us clues into unlocking the future of a park. One factor is looking at the history of the park and looking at the recent investments that the Six Flags chain has made in recent years. In the last 10 years, you can see that Six Flags St. Louis has only added one roller coaster, which was a relocated Boomerang. So we have unfortunately been in a coaster drought. Now, looking at some of the companies that the Six Flags chain has been working with, we have Zamperla, SNS, and RMC. So we may want to look into some of the products these manufacturers are making for our predictions. Another factor is looking at what the park currently has and what they are missing. One major thing that will be missing at the end of this year is a drop tower. With Superman Power of Tower being removed, we will no longer have a large drop tower in the park, a gap that Six Flags may look to fill in the next few years. Finally, we have to take into account the average investment budget for the park. In recent years, Six Flags St. Louis has received smaller investments compared to other parks in the chain such as Magic Mountain and Great America. Due to St. Louis being a smaller market, I anticipate that the investment strategy will remain the same. So unfortunately, no Gigas or Hypers are expected in the near term. Okay, so now that we've looked at some factors, I think it is time to reveal my predictions for what I think is coming next to Six Flags St. Louis. Let's begin with 2022. This one is rather easy as the 2022 ride has already been announced, and that is going to be Catwoman's Whip. The ride was supposed to open in 2020, but was pushed back because of the pandemic. Now, there has been speculation that Six Flags might try to open 2 rides in 1 year since they have had a 2-year gap in attractions, but from the looks of things, I am leaning away from this idea. Six Flags hasn't even removed Superman to make way for Catwoman's Whip, so the thought that they would be able to pull off 2 new additions next year seems a bit of a stretch. Now, I do anticipate there to be more upgrades to general infrastructure, probably some retracking of the boss, and maybe some work on Screamin' Eagle. Also, we could see some rides or buildings get a fresh coat of paint in the off-season as well. Okay, so that is what I think is happening for 2022. Now let's take a look at 2023. Six Flags St. Louis's last coaster opened in 2013, so this would make it 10 years since the park has seen a brand new coaster. So because of this, I predict that Six Flags will be getting finally another coaster in 2023. Now, at the moment, I don't expect it to be a very substantial ride. I actually stand by the predictions I made in my next coaster Six Flags St. Louis video that I released 2 years ago. I will link that video in the card above, but just warning you, this was when I was recording audio on my iPhone, so the quality is pretty bad, but it's still got some pretty good information for you to check out. Some of the coasters that I mentioned were a Raptor coaster, a 4D free spin model from SNS, and a Mack Power Splash. I am really leaning towards a RMC Raptor clone of Wonder Woman Golden Lasso coaster. If that were to be the case, I would be beyond ecstatic. Although I have not been on one of these myself, these single rail coasters, they look to be small but mighty rides with some aggressive elements. Six Flags St. Louis doesn't have that crazy ejector airtime roller coaster, so something like Wonder Woman Golden Lasso coaster would be a perfect fit for our park. Now, as far as where this coaster could be located, I think it would go in either the old tidal wave plot of land or even the site where Catwoman's whip was originally planned to go, and that is over by the boss where the go-karts used to be. Now, let's say a coaster doesn't come in 2023. I'm pretty confident that we're gonna see one in the next 3 to 4 years. So if it doesn't happen by 2023, I'm thinking it will at least happen by 2024. Speaking of which, let's move on to our 2024 prediction. And with the removal of Superman Power of Tower, we are losing one of our scariest rides in the park. Superman was one of the few rides I'd still be nervous to ride each time, dreading that sudden free fall drop. I know many others that share that same sentiment, so I think the park will be looking to add that scary drop tower back. Now, S&S recently announced a new version of their shot tower where the seats rotate, manually flipping riders throughout the ride. The original shot towers are super fun because they catapult you into the sky and then yank you back to the ground. Adding a flipping component to this experience would really make this a wild ride and probably give me that same nervous feeling before buckling in. Now, Six Flags has partnered with S&S on many projects, so I think Six Flags St. Louis would be a perfect park to test this out at. And even if we don't get a new spin shot tower from S&S, I do think at some point we will get a drop tower, as it's pretty much a theme park staple. This would also be a pretty affordable investment for a park like Six Flags St. Louis. All right, finally we have 2025, and this is the year I expect Six Flags to sell the park. Just kidding. But in all seriousness, I think 2025 is going to be a retheming and revamping of our kids area. Six Flags tends to do this every 10 to 15 years, so by 2025, we will be about due for an upgrade. Now, my hope is that an upgrade comes with a kids coaster. That is something we are truly missing at the park, and it really didn't hit me until my nephew started joining us on trips to Six Flags St. Louis. We wanted to get him on a coaster, but he wasn't tall enough to ride the adult ones, so it would have been fantastic if Six Flags St. Louis had an option for the little thrill seekers to get introduced to coasters at an early age. So I am truly hoping that a kids area revamp happens, and I really do think one will happen in the next 4 to 5 years. All right, these were my predictions on what's next for Six Flags St. Louis. I do truly believe the park is starting to head in the right direction with all of the small but important upgrades they've made this year. I know being a Six Flags St. Louis fan has led to many heartbreaks and disappointments over the last decade, so I may be a little too optimistic about the future of the park, but I think it's about time we start adding rides for the locals to get excited about. So now I want to hear from you. What do you predict Six Flags St. Louis will add in the next few years? Leave your comments below, and if you enjoyed this prediction style video, then check out the others I have on my channel. I will leave my theme park predictions playlist in the description below, along with my What's Next Silver Dollar City video in the card above. And as always, if you like this video, then give it a like and subscribe to Destination Thrills, as we are the destination for all the latest theme park news, speculations, and content. I'm Cullah Hale. Thank you so much for watching. Stay safe and have a good one.